Hey y'all, hey. Welcome to another episode of Straight Out the Group Chat. I got the heavy hitter in here with me, Miss Davis.
Yeah, you crazy.
AKA my mama. Ma, how you feeling tonight?
I feel good.
I guess I could call you Miss Davis. Ma, is
Yeah.
my thing skipping or jumping?
No, not right now, but we need to get through it because that thing be hesitating and all that other stuff.
I don't know why I be doing it.
Your lashes look good.
Thank you. Thank
Mm.
you. Indeed. Uh, So, y'all, just to give y'all a quick overview, tonight we're going to be talking about generational curses and their impact on the Black community. Just kind of continuing the conversation that we had from the previous episode. I'll link it below so that you guys can go watch it again, just in case you want to revisit our content. Um, so my just the first talking point we want to start with tonight is, what do you believe are the most significant generational curses affecting Black communities today?
You said the most what now? The most what?
What the most significant generational curses affecting the Black community today?
Well, for one, most certainly drugs. I think drugs affect our community. I think parenting, and you won't really hear me saying the word single parenting a lot because I don't like, I don't like using the word single. I think parenting issues, what else? Social economic statuses, most definitely the wages affects our community. Um, Education. I mean, it's a ton of things that affect our community. But when I share, I want to share from a place of what I've experienced for as, curses, what I feel for as, our family, you, myself, and Trevin, what I felt like was generational and what I, just believed and spoke that we were not going to live on the generational curses.
Right.
Yeah.
I think to your when you were talking about the different impacts, I
Mm-hmm.
think that a lot of it is attributed to the fact that we're considered, but we're not considered the minorities where we live. So when you were talking about different abuse,
Mm-hmm.
different access to resources in
Right.
terms like monetary,
Mm-hmm.
being able to build, I think all that goes back to being that we had to, come from, pretty much we had to fight our way through, and we still fighting.
Right. Right. Right.
So I think a lot of that is attributed to, again, control by the powers that be, whoever they are. And I think that a lot of it does fall on like you said, the familial aspect, because
Mm-hmm.
it's just we can't control it.
Wow.
And unfortunately, you have women or men, because it could go both ways, that just choose to give up.
Yeah.
I mean, because
It's
it's
easy to
mentally,
do.
it can be, yeah,
I mean,
mentally it
it's
can
easy
be
to do.
challenging.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's easy to give up, especially when you seem, you work hard and you feel like you're not getting ahead.
Right.
Um, and for me, like I said, for me, it's just changing your thoughts and getting around people who you can learn from. I think that's just so important. You
It is.
know, I think that's just so important.
I agree. Okay. So for in your perspective, or in your experience, how would you define a generational curse?
And I'm gonna be real quick with this. I think, like I said, for me, I'm speaking from my experiences. I
Right.
think a generational curse is anything that plagues a family from growing. Um,
Mm.
and when I say plague, I mean hinders. It hinders a family. Um, and to be honest with you, I think that when we talk about generational curses, I just feel as if sometimes we don't know
Right.
that we are repeating a curse or
Right.
a cycle, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But anything, I think, like, it hinders us from being our best selves or
Correct.
as family.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think to your point when you were saying it hinders us
Yeah.
because we don't know, I think that could circle back to psychology,
Right.
pathology,
Hmm.
not like you said, not having been taught anything differently.
Right.
But then also I think that lends itself to people not able to, for whatever reason. I mean, people have their reasons for whatever, but not able to be honest.
Right. Almost definitely. Most
I
definitely.
think, yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is number one, honesty, and number two, accountability.
Yeah. Almost definitely.
Yeah,
And then it goes back to people are not ready to share. Um, it took me a while to get, and there's still some things I won't share on this platform, but I
right,
will share publicly, in an open setting.
right,
But I feel that people do not want to share for whatever reason. I guess they feel embarrassed. But what I've grown to understand that those trials or tribulations or whatever you want to call them,
mhm,
they were not solely for me. They were for me to go back and help people,
correct,
share my story, tell my story. That way people can connect. And and my thing is I always tell people, if God did it for me, he'll do it for you because he has no more respect for me than he has for you.
right,
So, that's just the way I see it. So
right,
yeah, I'm
yeah,
just to the point where I will share anything I
right,
can do to help someone, especially like I said, young families, young parents. I'm just to that point in my life. Yeah.
yeah,
Giving back, trying to help people.
right. I think also that to your point where you were talking about, giving back, or
Yeah.
not giving back, but what you were saying in the roundabout was giving back. But
Yeah.
I think like you said, you have to get to a point within yourself where you are
Yeah.
wanting to give back. And also, like you said, understand that what we all endure is
Right.
not for us,
Right.
especially because of the fact that we are put on this earth to
Mhm.
serve.
Right. Most definitely. Almost
And
definitely.
so I think that's how we're able to serve one another,
Yeah.
not in the sense of, you know, going to whatever. It's just serving others by being able to tell them, okay, this is what happened for me, but here are the steps that I took so you don't have to take them again.
Right. Right. You know,
And yeah,
people, you know, and just let me share for this. We have to get past that. We have to get past the point where we don't want people to see us in another light.
right,
We want people to think we're together all the time.
right,
But that's not the case. Well, that wasn't my case. Let me just talk for me.
right,
That wasn't my case
right.
because, like I shared earlier on your podcast, there were plenty of times that I cried.
Mm,
And matter of fact, I talked about that today, but I know we'll talk more into about the mental health piece of it and therapy and everything, because I know that's one of your questions, I think. But, crying, telling people that you cried, that's the human
right,
side of me.
right.
That was the human side or the experiences that I experienced. Sometimes it just knocked me to my knees.
Yeah.
And, I I don't think I knew how to cope was to cry or act like it didn't exist. You
Mm,
know, that was one of the things that I had struggled with in my younger days, just act as if it wasn't there, but it wasn't going away.
right.
So it's just that we have to start being transparent. We do. We have to
Hmm.
be transparent. And as a community, like I said, I think we as a people of color, African Americans, we think it minimizes us if we share.
Hmm.
You know, I was watching something last night on YouTube, and one of the gentlemen, he started crying, and he was just like, I really don't care what y'all say, about black men crying. And I'm like,
Yeah.
speak your truth.
Yeah. Hmm.
If something has bothered you or troubled you, and now you see a testament or a testimony behind it, share your story.
Right.
If it brings tears, it just brings tears.
Yes.
But we just have to get away from a lot of things. We do. We
Right.
as people have to get away from a lot of things that we think is shame, or we don't want people to see us in a different light. Come on, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. I think that's the one thing I'm trying to unlearn is being comfortable in saying that I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Or like I'm not good in this moment, or I don't feel well, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because like you said, that avoidance,
Yeah.
ignoring until it goes away, but it's really not away. It's like
Yeah.
it's in front of your mind.
Yeah. And it
But
doesn't go away. And
mm-mm.
and we can consider that a curse, a generational
Right.
curse. I was reading today where just reading some articles, and this one young lady said that she always seen her mama in a strong light.
Mm-hmm.
Mama had to be strong. So
Mm-hmm.
if that's what you see, and not saying I've done everything right, but
Right.
just portraying myself as a strong woman, then of
Right.
course that's what you've seen and that's what you're gonna model.
Right.
So, that too, like I said, can be a curse in its own liking,
Right.
because like I said, here you are saying that, you have to get to that point. But what did you see? You didn't see me crying. You didn't see me crying a lot. You
No.
just see me working and doing what I had to do for us taking care of y'all. So again, it goes back to, not sharing a lot of things because y'all were children, but
Mm-hmm.
still, like I said, those things can become a curse, and,
Right.
and we don't even know it.
Right. Right. And
Mhm.
it's funny that you say that, because as you were talking, I was like, that's the same thing I do.
Yeah,
In terms of
almost
not,
definitely. Yeah.
yeah, in terms of like not verbalizing things as much as
Mhm.
I should, or even, I mean, even like not vocalizing if I'm uncomfortable in a moment, like I
Mhm.
don't like this or something like that. I'm working on everything, but
Yeah.
definitely recognizing those areas as
Yeah.
where, okay, this something I need to work on. I need to
Yeah.
work on self advocacy and work on being honest about how I'm feeling with who I'm feeling it around. Because
Yeah.
people, we don't always feel good, and that's just
No.
human. We're human.
Yeah. No, we don't. And like I
Mm-mm.
said, it goes back to we just have to be careful because everything does not happen. When you talk about generational curses, it could be a plethora of things. It could
Correct.
be a ton of things.
It can.
So we
Mm-hmm.
just have to be mindful. Like I say, even sharing now, and the farther we get into this little podcast, I know for a fact that it's things that, looking back on it now, it's things that I can see that shows up in you and Trevor's life that I felt like I struggled with it, and it may have been a curse in my own life. But like you said, you never gave voice to it.
Mm-hmm.
You sat there and you struggle in silence, and
Mm-hmm.
you can see it showing up in y'all, in
Right.
areas of your life now.
Right.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I think just being one thing that I definitely struggle with too is that, and I just talked to Dr. Henderson about this.
Yeah.
So I have a
Shout out to
thing,
Dr. Henderson, great therapist, y'all. Yeah, check him
right?
out.
Right, he is.
Yeah.
I have a thing to where when I'm dealing with something, I'll
Mhm.
go, you know how they say out of mind is the devil's workshop?
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, well, I don't want to bombard them with nothing that I'm dealing with. I just want to kind of get through it on
Yeah.
my own. I figure it out. But
Yeah.
what we were saying earlier, it's like people care about you. People
Almost
care about
definitely.
you.
Yeah.
People wanna know what you're dealing
Mm.
with.
Yeah.
People want to know how you're feeling. It's like I said, I think that's the enemy, the devil, whatever y'all want to call him. That's like it's
Yeah.
the opposite of goodness
Yeah.
is working, and it's like, well, don't
Yes.
nobody want to hear that. Don't nobody care. I don't want
Yeah.
to, burden them with my troubles. But it's like, no, people care. And you
Yes.
could call somebody, don't let that thought creep up in your head, like, well, let me
Yeah.
not. Because, I mean, a lot of it, where, again, I'll go, if I'm dealing with something, I'll just go and just be quiet or do something else, try to do something else about it. But
Yeah.
no, it's like you need to sit with it,
Yeah.
focus on the hurt part or whatever is happening, and
Mhm.
understand that what don't end you make you stronger.
Almost definitely.
And
Um,
that's a life lesson.
and I know you mentioned Dr. Henderson name.
Mhm.
And today, of course, we had my session today.
Oh,
And
you did?
oh yeah, I had, but we were virtual. We actually was on telephone today because I didn't go see him in his office.
Oh, you
But
took my time slide.
it's okay. You can get him back on there. But the thing that and he always compliments you and Trevin. He just talked so highly of y'all, and he was like, Miss Davis, you have so much to be proud about. He said, but still, it's something that's really bothering you, and we're just gonna have to work through it. Now, you can have those things, like I said, generation curses. It could be things that bother you consciously or subconsciously,
Mhm.
if you're not able to put a name on it.
Right.
And I just shared, some symptoms with him that I thought I'd been having outside of aging,
Right.
and going through those, life changes and
Right.
whatever. But just, things that he gave me that on the pointers that he shared with me, I just feel like it's just so prevalent right now and for my life to make
Right.
sure that you are aware of what you're doing,
Right.
and like I said, you putting a name to it, and you don't allow that to become a curse, and then you have to deal with whatever's going on, or Trevin one. And
Right.
I'm so proud of us as a family, just being in therapy and working through some things, because even though I always said to you all growing up, and you can attest to this, you know, we are curse breakers. I always said in this house, I'm
Mhm.
just like, we're curse breakers. We're not living under curses. But I will say to you that even though I said that, and I'll sure we'll talk more in depth about you, but even though I say that, I can still see some curses that popped up. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That seeped in. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I still can see some things that seeped in, even though, like I said, I said it often in this house.
You said all the time,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the thing is, like I said, for me, when I talk, I'm talking for me, and I'm just sharing because I never want to be. I'm telling this to a young lady today. When we talk about these generation curses and what causes them, I never want to be identified as a single parent. And I was telling her that, and some people wear it for a badge of honor. I choose not to.
Right.
Don't equate me to a single parent. I'm a
Right.
parent,
Right.
So that's one of the things that I did not want for you. Now I can say, for us that been a curse breaker, yes, because I was, and I'm like I said, I'm sharing with you about me.
Mhm.
Whoever's watching is fine, but I'm talking about me and my story. I, had you and Trev. First, I had Trev at a very young age, and then I had you. And yeah, two baby fathers, two fathers, or two baby daddies, whatever y'all want to call them, you know, two baby daddies. But whatever you want to say. But I didn't want that to be Trevin's story, and I most definitely didn't want it to be your story. Trevin, he's married and has his family, whatever. But I did not want that to be your story.
Right.
I wanted more for you, because to me, that was a curse that I didn't want to pass off to you. So that's why I've always been so adamant about, not having any children, in which you very strong minded about this, not having any children unless you're married,
Correct.
and then making sure that you know your husband. I just didn't want that to be your story.
Mhm.
I did not. And we still talk about it to this day.
Right.
Um, it's choices that I made, it's choices that I have to live with, but in spite of all of that, God still provided for us.
Right.
And, I never, like I said, I never want to be identified as a single parent, because I always told you and Trevin, oh, you have a father.
Right.
He's right here in this house because you have
Mhm.
a heavenly father. So that's the thing that, kept me going. And even in spite of all those things, like I said, I can still see how some things just creeped in, it crept in
Right.
with you, and as well as Trevin. You
Right.
know,
Well,
I can still see that.
I think to your point about the single parent thing, I mean, when we were talking about earlier about honesty and transparency,
Mhm.
you were always, I mean, when it came to that, and I definitely, because sometimes people gotta learn from experience.
Oh yeah, most
I'm
definitely.
glad I'm glad I didn't have to
Yeah,
learn that from experience,
right, right.
because I and that's why I always tell people, they're always like, well, why don't you have children? I'm like, well, number one, I was raised to not do that. And then number two, I just I don't want to, again, when we're talking about generational curses and all that, I
Yeah,
don't want to have a baby from a man. Me and him come together, we create a life together, and then I am stuck with that responsibility, and then I'm responsible for telling my child, oh, your daddy didn't come pick you up because whatever reason, or he just, like, for me, that's still something I deal with to this day, and I have voiced it to you openly, and I'll say it here, since we're being, open. When I was a little girl, I'm at the door waiting for somebody to come get me that never showed up. Like, and
yeah.
do you know the level of
Trauma.
pain that is?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
That's a pain I wouldn't wish
yeah,
on nobody,
yeah,
because it's the level of rejection.
yeah.
It's the level of why don't they want me?
Hmm.
And then you're always constantly dealing with, am I not good enough?
Yeah,
Or are they going to accept me? And
yeah.
then it's like, but now that I've gotten older, now that I've understood more, it's like they don't have nothing to do with me. And
Right,
I'm not
right,
going to take that on.
right.
I'm not going to take that on. But again, getting back to my point, I was not going to create a life with a person that was not going to be hands on with
Right.
me, because again, that's another thing that we would have to work through in terms of
Yeah,
curses. So I
yeah,
wasn't going to do that. I
yeah.
just wasn't going to do that.
Well, and I didn't. When you became old enough, I just had to share that with you. And I told you all the time. I just
Yeah,
didn't want that for you.
right,
Um, and I'm sure a lot of families or parents can say that nobody wants to see their child hurt.
right.
And I most definitely didn't want to see that for you. But
Mhm.
um, that was just one of the main things. Like I said, telling you, sharing the story, saying we curse breakers in this house. um, I remember one time I really had to get in your ish. You remember when you was in school?
Oh, what?
Yeah, when you was in school, and I used to see them cigarette lighters and stuff back there, and now you can smell smoke. I about to turn this house over. I turn this house, I flip this house. You remember that, Shay?
I
Do
do.
you
I
remember
remember.
that? When I told you, I was so livid when, and granted, I know you have to experience your own life experiences, but just some things, come on now. And I never forget when you went somewhere and you smoked. I think that was your first time trying some weed. Was that your first time trying some weed?
That wasn't my first time. That was my last time. I ain't did it
Hey,
since. No, Lord.
listen, I'm telling you something. Because they're again now to reach his own. And I don't want to sit on here and act like I'm a saint. And because, I've done things, but I never tried weed. And you can ask my friends, my real friends.
Right.
I never tried marijuana. But my thing is, I think that's what made me so mad with you. Because literally, I was ready to flip this house when you came up here. I never tried it. So I'm just like, you know what? Why are you even out here trying to be tempted or trying to smoke this stuff because of peer pressure? And I was just, I went in.
You
I went,
did.
oh, Shay, I scared you so bad. You said what now? But again, I just didn't want that for you. I didn't want that for you because, like I said, sometimes you may can try it one time and you may be trying the rest of your life,
Right. Or
and
something
or
worse
something,
now.
yeah. Some the way they doing stuff now, and you never know back then. Like I said, back then when you tried it, but people could have put something in it. You end up messing yourself up. And I did. I didn't care about going off because I know I went off.
You did.
Because I'm just like, I don't do that. Why in the world would you do something like that? Why would you, and I did. And then I started threatening you about insurance. I don't even think you're old enough to have your own insurance. I was like, do you think I'm going to pay an insurance bill and you smoke and I don't even smoke? You get your own insurance.
You were so mad that
I was lit.
But the thing was, I was in the 11th grade then.
Yeah, I think I was in high school.
Yeah, I was in 11th grade, and we 2009. This 2024. That was well over.
Yeah,
14, 15. I ain't ask me how about you. I ain't tried smoke. I ain't tried that. I ain't tried to edible. I don't do none of it.
But that's what you know what I'm saying? That's what I had to do so it wouldn't be any type of generational curse when it comes to smoking weed or, now I know whatever you do for your little drinks and stuff, but, just happen to have it. Right. And can't hold down anything or as a job or something because you feel like you have to smoke marijuana or Mary Jane or whatever, So I don't regret what the techniques or the strategies that I use for you and Trevin. And I know, sometimes like I was telling Ashley the other day, I said, sometimes I know I could be a little harsh, but that's what I had to do for, ensuring that you and Trevin are okay. Independent, able to thrive and strive, even though if I'm not here, right. And that's what's important. That's right. What's important. I don't want to enable you. And I feel like, if I would just co-sign on that stuff that you were doing, man, ain't no telling where no telling where you'd be.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? That's so I true. Did. I just had to do what I had to do. And I know I was a little harsh. But like I said, for a fact, I just said that we're curse breakers. We're curse breakers in here. Mm-hmm. And that's what I had to do. And like I said, even when it came to you going off to school, when you only applied to one school, time you going to East Carolina, you getting away from here. I'll never forget. And, you talking, I'm getting away from here. And you only applied to one school. You weren't that bad. And I said, you better hope you get accepted in one same state. You better hope you get in there. Yeah. And when you go, you better not come back until you have your degree. Yeah, so it's just things that I had to do. And I know I probably was harsh and I sounded mean back then because I was like, you come here, you come back home without your degree, we are roommates and we split the bills. And that's what I had to do. And I told Trevin, I said college or military. Yeah. I'm going on military. Yeah, college and military. Those are two choices. But like I said, but that's what I had to do because I wanted more for you too, And the thing is, I had to be a pit bull sometime. Yeah, I had to be a pit bull because if not, I'm not gonna say y'all would have ran over me, but you can't be okay with the status quo all the time. You just can't. Right. Right. You have to push yourself. Well, and then,
I don't see now looking back on, hindsight is a magnificent science. Right. So looking back on it, I don't have a problem with it. I don't. Because when I see how people my age, my colleagues and peers or whatever, and how they were raised and how they're living now in comparison to how I was brought up and raised and stuff that I just don't even feel comfortable in doing. It's like, I don't care what people say or what people do or whatever. Like, I don't have no desire to be in none of that. Like, I don't care nothing about none of that. Because again, and when you were talking about college, man, you know how many times I quit. But I always had that voice in the back of my head. I said, exactly. I can't go back to 210, so I might as well fight.
You're going to split these bills. That's what I'm saying. I meant it. I wasn't make you pay a house payment because that was my responsibility. But anything else, we were splitting like roommates. I didn't care. You want to come? You want to bring your
Because I kept telling Demetri, I was like, Demetri, if I go back on mama, I got to split every bill. But the thing is, where am I going to work? I don't have no money.
I meant what I said. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, but the thing is, when we're talking about, acknowledging and talking about these things,
Yeah.
how important do you think that is? Like, do you think that it's people could learn by just watching,
Well,
or
I think in order to learn, you have to be able to admit. You have to be able to admit that
mm,
you made mistakes along the way. And I'll be the first to say, even now, I mean, like I said, I can look back over my life. I can look at you and Trevor's lives. I see where even me being a young parent and didn't know everything, I can see how things show up in your lives. But like the therapist told me, it's that's not on me. You've done a
mm,
great job raising your children. At this point, it's all about a choice,
right,
So what you do now is a choice.
right,
And just working, like I said, working through some things, cognitive behavioral therapy, of course, that's what we use for our model. But I just think it's important that people have to be comfortable to admitting that no, you're not okay.
right.
Or I think mental health plagues us with, generational curses because we don't want to talk about, oh,
I think
we
that's
just,
a huge
yeah,
one.
we
Yeah,
don't. We don't want to talk about it. Oh, I'm strong. Oh, I'm mighty. And I don't want nobody to see me in another light. Or I just don't want them to see me if I'm weak or if I'm broken. I mean, come
yeah,
on. There's time
yeah,
out for that. I
yeah.
no, no.
But I also think like that can be that can be like a trauma response too. You know,
Yeah.
you not wanting to be vulnerable. And I mean,
Hmm.
sometimes that's all people know. That's all some people know how to deal with things
Yeah.
is to be in the space of I'm not gonna let nobody get close to me. I am strong. I am this is
Yeah.
all I have. So and that's why they say check on your strong friends or the strongest people are the weakest
Yeah.
because they probably experienced the most and
Hmm.
highest level of trauma and heartbreak or whatever, but they don't know
Yeah.
how to verbalize it.
Yeah.
And so that's why now I am an advocate for getting that unbiased third party opinion in
Oh
a
my.
therapist.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just because I think sometimes friends and family, and not that this is a knock, I think sometimes friends and family can blindly
Well,
support people
yeah.
because that's their first
Yeah.
response is to,
Almost definitely.
no, they were wrong, you were right. And it's like,
And
well,
they're
let's see.
partial to it,
Right,
or they feel like you telling family secrets.
right,
But again, like I said, when I speak, I'm speaking for me and us.
right,
I'm speaking for my immediate family.
correct.
And, to me, therapy is the best thing
Yeah,
that has happened for us in a while because you see them on your dime, I see them on mine, and also Trevor. But
mm,
I think it's just a great thing because it takes a strong person to admit that,
of
hey,
course.
I need someone to talk to.
I
I
agree.
need someone to listen to me. So I just think it's important, But like I said, it plagues the Black community, and that's why we live under so many curses: mental health, social economic statuses, jobs, education.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I'm not saying everybody gonna go off to college, but we do have to get back to the point where we're encouraging our children to do something,
right,
you know. And like
right,
I said, for me, I just carried a big stick and it was no exceptions to it.
right,
You're gonna do something. Yeah,
right, right.
yeah,
Yeah. I think that's. I mean, I don't. Like I said, I don't. I'm grateful for how I was raised. I don't have no problem with how I was raised because again, hindsight is 2020, and I
mm,
have a better understanding of again going back to the other day when we were on here. Manners, respect,
oh yeah,
working hard,
yeah,
not not being a burden to
yeah,
people. Just getting up and getting on your own, not
yeah,
making excuses. I mean, you got
yeah.
to get out here and work.
Yeah. And those are
Period.
some of the good things that I modeled for you and Trevin. Like I said, even though we've made mistakes along the way.
Mhm.
I've made mistakes along the way. No
Mhm.
one is perfect, but I can say I know I made mistakes along the way.
Right.
For whatever reason.
Right.
But to know that you are respectful, you have now the ground things, the foundation. You
Correct.
have the foundation, and being able to thrive and like I said, survive out here in this dog eat dog world
Right.
Even if something was to ever happen to me as your mother, you will be able to survive. And
Right.
you don't have to depend on anyone or go live with someone or someone take you in or,
Right.
from pillar to post or job to job. So that's just one of the great things that came out of it, even through the struggles,
Right.
even through the struggles.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
know, 'cause,
Yeah.
like I said, generational curses are real.
Yeah.
And whatever you want to pinpoint, like I said, for me, I just didn't want you to be a teenage or a single parent.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I didn't want that for you, and I didn't want you out here smoking weed, and I heard drinking and not being, I don't know. Oof, yeah, I don't want that. So I just had to do what I had to do.
Mm-mm. And I ain't touched it since. Amen.
Yeah.
Mom, what advice would you give to somebody who is trying to break a generational curse in their own life?
Well, like I said, at first you have to be able to ask questions if you don't know something. If you see a cycle repeating in your family and you don't want that for your children or for yourself, get around somebody who can share some real true talk,
Right.
some
Right.
real talk with you.
Right.
Not saying that
Somebody
I
that
have all the
understands.
answers. I'm just talking from my experiences,
Right.
and I know what I did and didn't want when it came to my children, regardless if I was the only parent in the house. you
Right.
know, Spiritually, like I said, you always had a heavenly father. You have a father. You have a
Right.
heavenly father
Right.
who's watching down and looking over us,
Right.
But if it's something that you want to break and you're not sure, sit down and talk to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to someone and they'll give you some advice. One thing I always want to do, I always want to get around people who are going places.
That's right. You
You
said that.
know, I just always, and I can think when I worked in the school, working in the school system, being around teachers, talking to
Yes.
people, talking to different people and just asking questions. Family members, I always wanted to be a homeowner. So you have to get around those people who can give you the information on how to become a homeowner. Shout
Correct.
out to my cousin's son.
Hey,
And
son.
rest in peace, Nut. But they were the two that, really, coach me up on how to become a homeowner, who to talk to, what to do. So it's just you have to get around people, but you also have to be willing to ask and receive the information. Like I
Right.
said, sometimes we're just so, oh, I don't want to know, I don't want, they can't tell me anything. So it's just, you have to let go of all that, let
Yeah.
that go. It's time out for all that. Let's get empowered,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
get empowered.
I definitely agree with getting around people because like again, something that you always said, you don't have to learn everything from experience. You could just
No,
pay
no,
attention
no.
and pay attention, ask the right questions. And so I have always been an advocate for, like you said, getting around people that's going places because all this other stuff, I mean, all this is stupid.
Yeah.
So, like you said, get around people that's going places, ask questions, pay attention on their moves, what they're doing, the type of things that what they're striving towards. Because I
Yeah.
think you could learn more. You can't learn by being around people that's in the same, you know what I mean, same
Yeah.
mindset areas. You got
Yeah.
to get around
Yeah.
people
You
that's
gotta be
where
challenged.
you
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right,
You have to
right,
be challenged. But
right.
that's like I said, it all depends on the individual. It's what do you want,
Correct,
But in that same token, you have to be transparent with people because a person can't help you if they don't know what's going on
correct,
with you.
correct.
So I just, like I said, when I knew what I wanted, I spoke it into existence, everything down to being this little cul-de-sac down here.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the time I didn't even know what a cul-de-sac was. I even told son, I said, girl, even I just say the circle drive. Then I found out it was
Right,
a cul-de-sac.
right,
Oh,
right.
it's just things that, if you don't know, you have to get around people and ask those questions.
Gotcha.
And if you want to be a curse breaker, you have to get around somebody who's overcome some things and, um, just ask them how.
Yeah. Well, Ma, this was good. This was good. This was right up there. This was like top 3.
Yeah, you got those lashes on fleek. I bought some the other day, but I don't have them on. This girl was in the store and she was like, "Hit me up. I'll do them for you." Like, "Mama, I'll do them for you." And I didn't call her. But I'm put something on.
Go on YouTube.
I can't do that YouTube. Shay, let me see him again. Hold on like that. Oh, it look nice.
All right. Well, thank you for my compliment.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, make sure y'all comment, like, subscribe to the channel. Told you my mama, she the goat. She coming in here with the info. She trying to help y'all. She's trying to free the people. We got to have you back on here again, Miss Davis, because they like the stuff that you own.
Well, I mean, it's my truth, and I don't mind sharing it. Like I said, you just have to get to a point where you're comfortable.
Right.
And that's it. And like I said, and understanding that, it's for me. I want to encourage and help people, especially, families with only one parent in the household. Like I said, it's just all about what you believe, what you believe in, what do you want, and who you believe in. I believe in higher power.
Yeah.
So, that's that's
Right.
that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
all right.
Well, we're gonna wrap this one up, y'all. Y'all have a good night, and thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see y'all in the next video.
All right.